For this lesson, I want to look at equations with two or more variables. In example 1, we have a linear equation, 2x minus 3y is equal to 5, and it has both an x and a y in it. And let's start by solving this equation for x. So the goal is to get x by itself using all the properties that we used in our previous lesson. So over here, I think it would be pretty easy to solve this thing for x. So we have 2x minus 3y is equal to 5. I'm going to add 3y to both sides of this equation, and that results in 2x is equal to, I'll put 3y plus 5, and the last step is going to be divide both sides by 2. And I've solved for x. X is all by itself, and I have 3y plus 5 over 2 on the right. The difference here in this lesson is our answer isn't just a number. It involves the other variable in the equation. So that's different. If you have two or more variables, in general, your solution will not be a number. So it didn't really matter that I solved it for x. You could very well have solved this thing for y. I think I'll do that as well. So we have 2x minus 3y is equal to 5. Just to note that I think we're going to get something different. It'll look similar, but it will not be the same. So I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. This leaves me with negative 3y is equal to negative 2x plus 5. And now I will divide both sides by negative 3. And I'm left with y is equal to negative 2x plus 5 divided by negative 3. And we could simplify this a little bit. You can multiply the negative here from the denominator to the two terms in the numerator. That will change this to y is equal to positive 2x minus 5 divided by 3. So here we have two answers, one for x, one for y. They're different, and this will happen if you have an equation with two or more variables. For example 2, I wanted to look at an equation which has three variables in it. So I'll just copy down this equation. This is a is equal to 1/2 h times little b plus big B. And so we have a, h, lowercase b, and uppercase b. This is the formula for the area of a trapezoid. So I'm going to draw a trapezoid on one side here. And I'm going to label everything on this, in that this is h, my height. Uppercase b is the bottom. And the lowercase b will be the length of the top. If you know the values for these three things and you plug them into this equation, it'll tell you the area. The first goal for this example is to take this equation and we're going to solve it for lowercase b. So I need to get this by itself. And there's a couple of ways to do this. What I'm going to do is distribute 1/2 h into the parentheses. All right, if I do that, I get a is equal to, I have 1/2 h times b plus 1/2 h times uppercase b. Now our goal is to get this lowercase b by itself. So that means I'm going to take this and I'm going to move it to the other side of my equation. So I'm going to subtract it from both sides. So I'm going to take negative 1/2 hb from both sides of this equation. My result is a minus 1/2 h times b is equal to 1/2 h lowercase b. Okay, now our goal is to get lowercase b by itself, which is right here, but there's this 1/2 and there's also an h. To get rid of the 1/2, I'm going to double both sides. I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. 2 times this whole side will change this 1/2 into a 1, and then it will appear over here on the left. So let me write that out. So if I multiply both sides by 2, I get 2 times a minus 1/2 hb is equal to 2 times 1/2 h lowercase b. And like I said, on the right side, this 2 and 1/2, when multiplied, cancel to 1. I'll distribute the 2 on the left, and we get 2a, and then the 2 and the 1/2 cancel, giving me hb. And this is equal to h lowercase b. As my final step, I'm going to divide both sides by this h, leaving b by itself. So I'll divide the right side by h, provided that I also do the same thing on the left. And I have my final answer. I have that 2a minus hb, all divided by h, is equal to lowercase b. So for the second part of this example, now that I've rewritten this equation, so I have this lowercase b, if I know that the area, so I'll jot these values down, if I know that the area is equal to 250 square inches, the height is 10 inches, and uppercase B is 40 inches, I should now be able to solve for b. I can take those three values, put them in place of a, b, and h, reduce this whole side to get my final answer of b. So let's do that. Okay, so b is equal to, all right, I have 2 times a, so that's 2 times 250, minus h times b, that's 10 times 40, and this is all divided by h, which is 10. All that is left for us to do is to simplify this out. So let's see, 2 times 250 is 500, minus 10 times 40, which is 400, all divided by 10. And then b is equal to, okay, that's 100 divided by 10. And we get that b is equal to 10. And more precisely, I should say 10 inches. And for my last example, here we have an equation involving x's and y's, so only two variables. And I just want to go through a process of solving an equation like this for x. This one is definitely a little bit more complicated. So what I'm going to do is multiply everything out on the left, combine all like terms, and everything that has an x in it, I'm going to put on one side of my equation. So let's see what this looks like. On the left side, if I distribute the 3 and the positive 2, I'm left with 3x plus 3y. Then I have plus 2x minus 2y plus 6 is equal to 3x minus 2. Okay. If I simplify the left side of this equation, I have a 3x and a 2x, so that is 5x. I then have 3y minus 2y, which is plus y. And then I have plus 6. On the right side of my equation, I get still 3x minus 2. Okay, to move forward here, I can't simplify the left side or the right side anymore, so I'm going to have to start adding or subtracting things from both sides of my equation. So I think what I'll do is put everything with an x on the left and everything that does not have an x on the right. So I'm going to first subtract 3x from both sides of my equation. So that gives me 2x plus y plus 6 is equal to negative 2. Okay, I think I'm going to try to do this in one step here where I can subtract 6 from both sides of this equation, but I'm also going to subtract y at the same time and write down what is left over. We have 2x, the y's and the 6's cancel, and this is equal to, we have negative 8 minus y. So I'll write those closer together, but that is 2x is equal to negative 8 minus y. The last step to get x by itself is to divide both sides by 2. And we have our final answer of x is negative 8 minus y all over 2.